You know this screen. The bar creeps, nothing ever finishes, and you go off and make yourself a coffee. That was Rollup. This is Rolldown 1.0. It is written in Rust, and it has just taken its job. The claim is 10 to 30 times faster than Rollup. Same graph, same output, a fraction of the weight. Rust did not delete your build step. It made it quick enough that you stop noticing. 3 things worth knowing: what changed, what actually got faster, and what it cost you. Until now, Vite ran 2 bundlers. esbuild while you developed, Rollup when you shipped. Both good, both different, which means that everything crossed a join. Your code took one path in development and a different one on the way to production. Rolldown replaces both of them at once. One bundler, one path through your code from the first save to the thing you actually deploy. Underneath it sits OXC, a parser, a resolver, a transformer, and a minifier, all written in Rust, all sharing the work. It speaks the Rollup plugin API. So the plugins you already have mostly load, mostly run, and mostly nobody notices. It arrived quietly enough. First an opt-in package, then Vite 8 in March, and then Rolldown reached 1.0 in May. Now it is simply the default. Install Vite 8 and you are running a Rust bundler, whether you went looking for one or not. And your config barely notices. Most projects upgrade without touching a line because the old options are converted for you. Then there is full bundle mode. The dev server bundles your modules instead of firing a request for each one, and that is 10 times fewer, which is what kills the waterfall. On a big app, that staircase of requests was most of what you were waiting for on a hard refresh. Same code path in both places. What you see at your desk is now what gets built, which quietly removes a class of bug. So, one bundler instead of 2, the same config and the same plugins. That is the shape of the change. The obvious answer is Rust, and it is not really the answer. Rust is what made 3 other decisions possible. First, it actually uses your machine. Module work spreads across every core you own instead of politely queuing up on a single one. Second, it stops asking JavaScript. Every hook crossing from Rust into JS costs, so filters decide in Rust whether to bother. Third, it reads your file once. One parse, one tree, shared by everything downstream instead of rebuilt at every step. And minifying is no longer a separate tool bolted on the end. OpenC does it in the same pass, on the same tree. Underneath it all, fewer and bigger allocations. That is the unglamorous half of why Rust tools feel fast. Resolution matters more than you would think. Every import in your project is a small file system hunt, thousands of times. But the bundler was never your whole build. Your transforms and your framework compiler still cost what they cost. Disk and network do not care what language your bundler is written in. Fetching and writing take exactly as long, which is why it is a range. Small app, small win. Big graph with a lot of modules, and that is where 30 comes from. So time your own build before and after. It takes a minute, and it is the only number that describes your project. Parallel work, fewer trips into JavaScript, one parse, and native minifying. That is the trick. Cold production builds are where it shows most. One team published a build going from 46 seconds down to 6 seconds flat. The bigger the project, the wider the gap gets. A small site barely notices, a big monorepo notices a lot. Dev server start is the one you feel every day. It was already quick. It is now quick enough that it stops being a moment you notice. Hot updates stay hot. Save, and the changes on screen before your hand is off the keyboard, even in a genuinely big app. Hey, don't forget to like and subscribe for more like this. Now, back to the video. Minifying got quicker too because it stopped being a second tool that reads your whole bundle again from scratch. It is one pass now. What did not get faster is your own code. A slow custom transform is still a slow custom transform in the same place. Type checking is not part of any of this. That is a separate job, running on its own clock, and it did not move at all. In CI, the bundle step shrinks. And the total does not shrink as much because install and test did not change at all. Watch mode keeps up in a way that it did not before. Save quickly enough and the rebuilds stop queuing up behind each other. So expect a real improvement rather than the headline number. Most projects land somewhere well short of 30 and that is fine. Bundling and dev start much faster. Your own transforms and your type checking exactly the same. Most of the Rollup plugin API is there, and that is exactly why the upgrade is boring for most people, which is genuinely the goal. Most of it though, not all of it. 4 hooks are missing, and if a plugin you depend on uses one, you find that out at build time. Some config went with it too. The object form of manual chunks is gone, and so are the system and AMD output formats. Output can also come out shaped differently, same input, different chunks, and require calls for external stay as require. There is a floor as well, node 20.19 or newer, and about 15 megabytes more in your node modules. And test the built app, not the dev server. Differences that only exist in a production bundle are the ones at Vite. The ecosystem is still moving across to it. Most of it is here already. Some of it is a version behind and catching up in public. There is no flag that puts Rollup back. If it goes wrong, your way out is staying on Vite 7, which is not really a way out. A plain app is a low-risk upgrade. A build with custom plugins and hand-tuned chunking deserves an afternoon of care. So weigh it honestly. Minutes back on every build against an afternoon of checking. For most teams, that maths is easy. Plugins, output, and a real test of the built app. 3 things to check before you call it done. Starting something new, then there's nothing to decide at all. You get it by default and there is no old setup left to unpick. Already waiting on builds? That is the strongest case there is. The pain you have is exactly the pain it removes. Running a stack of plugins? Worth an hour first. Go through them, run a build, and look at what comes out the far end. Publishing a library? Check the output formats carefully. Your consumers will notice a changed bundle long before you ever do. Trying it is cheap. Spin up a fresh project, run one build, and compare it honestly against whatever you are running now. After switching, look at the build output, every plugin, and a real smoke test of the production bundle, not the dev server. So the title is a lie and a useful one. The build step is still there. It just stopped being the part you plan your day around. Worth trying this week on a branch, not worth rushing into it on a Friday afternoon with a release waiting behind it. Go and time your own build, then decide. That is the only number that actually matters here.